Everything we do is going to be about winning. Okay, we're going to learn to do things the right way, and that's the only way we're going to do them. Because if it doesn't help us, we're not doing it, man. That's just as simple as it gets. Win the Super Bowl.
That's
I
good.
mean it too. You know, one of the things that the only reason you become a head coach in this league, in my opinion, is to win. That's it. That's the bottom line. If you do it for any other reason, you're wrong.
Hey, Washington football fans, welcome back. So, today, I'm going to start a little series about how our defense matches up with opposing offenses. I was going to do the first 8 games all at once, but I started recording, realized that was going to be a little long. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down how we stack up against an opposing offense 2 games at a time. Now, this first video is going to be talking about what we have at defense, and then the first game, and then every video after that is going to be 2 offenses. So, if you want to, go ahead and subscribe down below so you get to see each video when they come out. Maybe drop me a like down there too if you would. But, so, like, in this video, I'm just going to go over our defense. I'm not going to do that again. Because, I mean, we know it. And after I go over it, it'll just be about how they match up with, the next 2 weeks after that. So, without further ado, let's go. Let's talk about our defense here. Of course, Chase Young. This guy had an 87.2 PFF grade last season in his rookie year. He's an athletic freak, generational talent. He was the college defensive player of the year coming out, NFL defensive rookie of the year in his first season, Pro Bowl in his first season. He's a great leader on the field. Everybody loves the guy, and he's an absolute monster. Don't need to talk a lot about what he brings to the team. It's a lot more than sacks. And, yeah, just a dominant player we got there. And the opposite side of the line from him, we have Montez Sweat. Another freak athlete. He had a 79.7 PFF grade last year. He's getting better. He was a 9.90 RAS coming out. Just another freaky speed rusher coming from the other side. We have the best defensive end tandem in football. Hands down. I don't want to hear it. And then in the middle, we have monsters like Jonathan Allen, who last season had an 80.3 PFF grade. He was a 7.74 RAS coming out. This guy's the heart and soul of the defense. Another leader. Local guy. Bleeds burgundy and gold. The kind of guys you want on our team. He's going to ball out. This is a contract year. Expect huge things from him this year. So, Jonathan Allen. Beside him, you got Deron Payne. That Alabama wall in the middle. He had a 68.2 PFF grade, but the big plays he made at the right times last season, you just can't measure it. He's a great player. He gets great production against the run and pass rushing. He had an 8.56 RAS score coming out. Just a monster. And then behind them, their backups would start on any other team in the NFL just about. You got Matt Ioannidis, who 7.01 RAS coming out. This guy had a 73 PFF pass rush grade in 2019. He only got to play a couple games last season because he got hurt. But the season before, had a great pass rush grade. That's kind of his specialty. Just interior pressure on the quarterback. He's all about it. And then last season, Tim Settle, who was like a 7th round pick, managed to get a 69.0 PFF grade and very limited sacks. snaps. I think he ended up with more sacks than Deron Payne. Though, you can't, measure against like how much Deron actually did for everything else. But as far as just sacks go, I'm pretty sure he got more sacks. And then our first round pick this year, Jamin Davis. He had an 81.6 PFF grade in college last season. He balled out. He's a 90 or a 9.94 RES score. Super freak of an athlete. And this is one of the guys, the only guy that I really saw match up well against Kyle Pitts in college. So makes me feel really confident in what our linebacking group will be able to do against some of the better tight ends in the league. We also got Khaleke Hudson, who I really liked coming out of the draft last year, taking a big step up in training camp so far. He'll probably be the starter. He had a 7.58 RAS. He got a 65.8 PFF grade in very limited reps last season. But he did that without any training camp last season, just getting thrown in as a rookie, very little time, and spots here and there. But this year in minicamp, he looks like he's really grasping the defense well. He's making some splash plays, and I really look forward to what he's going to do out there on the field. And then our lone shining spot on the linebacking group last season was Cole Holcomb. He had a 72 PFF grade. He had a 9.64 RAS coming out of school. I think he's going to hold it down again this year and just add to all the great things we have now at the linebacker position. Landon Collins is apparently healthy. He didn't participate in many camps much, but he was there. So hopefully he'll be ready when the season starts. But if not, we got Cam Curl, who balled out last season. He had a 68.1 PFF grade. He has a 7.45 RAS. I thought he did a little bit better than his grade would lead you to believe. But still, solid player. His future's looking bright at the strong safety position. Really pumped. I think he's going to do even better this year. We added William Jackson III. Big upgrade over Ronald Darby. This guy had a 71.4 PFF grade last season. He had a 7.05 RAS score coming out. But he had a 4.3740 to go with that. Former first-round cornerback. This is a guy that I think in 2017 was the second best cornerback in the league. So, behind this defensive line, I think he's going to shut people down. We also drafted Ben St. Juste in the third round. He had a 72.4 PFF grade in college, 8.13 RAS score. He was one of my favorite corners in the entire draft. So glad our team got him. I did not realize that everybody was after him the way they were. So I'm glad we got him when we did. Monster. He's going to be the guy. He's going to let Kendall Fuller move back to the slot. And Juice is going to be able to handle those big bully wide receivers that a lot of people have. They're not going to be able to bully him because he's just as big as them. 6'3", 205 pounds, maybe a little more. And he's got great speed, good short area quickness, good agility. Perfect for the big-bodied receivers. And then, like I said, Kendall Fuller moving back to the slot. He had a 67.2 PFF grade. But moving back to the slot, last time he was the slot corner here, before he went to Kansas City, Kendall Fuller posted a 90.6 PFF grade. So if we could just get him back in that role, get him back to that production, behind this line, it's going to be crazy out there. I don't know how anybody's going to try to pass on us with this setup. They're not going to have the time to pass on us with this D-line. And then that brings to the free safety, Bobby McCain. He had a 8.47 RES score. Now, I was kind of pumped to get him, but the more I look at his performance at free safety, I'm kind of getting a little concerned here. Like, he started out last season awesome, having the second lowest passer rating against him through the first 5 games. But then he kind of ended up dropping off a little bit with a 62.1 PFF grade. Now, that's a pretty steep fall. Especially when you look at the fact that Jeremy Reeves last season with us, when everybody's kind of like, nah, he did okay. Well, Jeremy Reeves very quietly ended up getting a 81.2 PFF grade. I know that was in, slightly less targets than Bobby McCain, but honestly, I hope there's like a real battle in training camp and we actually make sure we get the best man out of those. But that's our defense, and going from there, we're going to go into week 1 after this. So we start out week 1 against the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert coming off his rookie season where he got a 79.9 PFF grade. Coming out in the draft, this guy had a 9.70 RAS, the top of the quarterback class. He was ahead of Jalen Hurts and our own Steven Montez that are kind of all about the athleticism. This guy had all that, and he's a hell of a thrower of the football. Last season, he managed to have the 10th best QBR under pressure. So it's hard to shake him, but I think we can do it. He had a really bad line last year. They tried to beef it up for him. They brought in Corey Linsley to play center. First team All-Pro last season. 89.9 PFF grade. 9.19 RAS. They gave this man the whole bag to come to LA and snap to Herbert in his second year. So he's something we got to worry about. In the 5th round, they came back. They got Brandon Jaimes. He was a pretty athletic offensive tackle, but they're going to be moving him to guard, I think. And at guard, it moves his RAS score up to a 9.4. He's super athletic, super big, long as a guard. He had a 66.7 PFF grade in college. Again, like I said, 5th round selection, transitioning guard. Could bolster the line a bit, make things a little tougher for us. Not anything I'm really worried about starting out. They've got Brian Bulaga, who's been a solid right tackle for 12 years. He had a 7.34 RAS. Last season, he missed 6 games. He was a little banged up. And he had a PFF grade of 61.6. With his injuries, I don't know if he's going to be in game 1. But if he is, he's still a wily vet, so, he could lead to some concern. But it's really nothing I'm really worried about with our line. I still think, he doesn't give us much resistance. But rookie 1st round pick, Rashawn Slater, coming out. He had a 9.71 RAS. He's one of the only guys to hold his own against Chase in college. Now, the NFL is a whole nother monster. And Chase has had a year to be here and get it going. And I think, personally, he's going to dominate Slater. Like, it's going to make fans question the pick, which isn't fair to Slater because I think he'll be a great O-lineman. But Chase has had time to get here and get it going. And people are going to be hyping that matchup. And I think it's going to be disappointing for anybody except Washington fans. Also on that offensive line, rounded out, is Ode Abushi. Now, he had a slightly better grade than an injured Bulaga last season with the Devils' PFF grade of 66.6. And when he was coming out, he had a big old 1.47 RAS. He is definitely the weakness on that interior line. So you wonder how the rest of it's going to hold up together with, I mean, if him and Bulaga are on the same side with his injuries and just how bad these two play, it might be bad for Herbert. But Herbert's got some weapons. He's got Keenan Allen, who was a 84.9 PFF grade. One of the best slot guys in the league, but he can line up wherever. I think if he's in the slot, Fuller can match up pretty good with him and limit his impact. But if not, Willie Jack Part 3 will definitely get it done. So, Keenan Allen's a great guy, but I think we got the tools to slow him down. Mike Williams, though, 6'4", 220, 7.24 RAS, PFF grade of 72.7. He missed 5 games also last season. Now, this is the kind of wide receiver that we drafted Juice to go against. And I think Juice matches up perfectly with him. I mean, these guys are about the same size. I mean, he's got a little weight on Juice, but they're about the same size. They even run the same 40s. Juice has actually got a couple ticks on him at like a flat 4.5, where this guy runs 4.58 or something. But super close. And I think we throw Juice out there in week 1 and let him hold Williams down. And I think he can keep him to very little production. Another guy they got in the draft this year, wide receiver Josh Palmer's a guy I really liked out of Tennessee. He had a 7.6 RAS, 6'2", 210 pounds. He had a 70 PFF grade last year in college. I think he's a great addition to the Chargers, but depending on how much Allen is playing a slot, if we put Fuller on him, and if we got Juice on Williams, man, he could draw the short straw and be matched up with our number 1, Like, we could have William Jackson on this guy, and that'd be a very rough first day for Josh. Then tight end, they got Jared Cook. He had a 71.9 PFF grade last year. He was a 9.07 RAS score. He could be with his athleticism, he could be a surprisingly tough test for Jamin's speed, if that's where we got him. But, it's not a matchup I don't like with what we have at linebacker now. They got running back Austin Eckler, who was a 77 PFF grade last year, 4.4 speed guy. He was undrafted, but he's been very solid for them. And with their improved offensive line, he could have a day. We're going to find out early if we have improved our game against the run. Now, last season, Herbert did very well finding his one-on-ones against blitzing teams, and he shined against that pressure. But what I think is going to help us tremendously is the fact that we don't have to blitz. We get pressure from our front 4. And the dominance of our front 4, I think, will force him to throw into less favorable matchups than he could last season. I think we start out with a statement against a bright, rising young quarterback. And I think we could win this game in a dominant fashion. Now, a lot of people don't believe that, but I really think that our defense matches up really well with their strength. And our offense can do enough to get past that. But this video is about the defense. I think our defense can shut them down pretty well in this. Keep them under 3 touchdowns. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for part 1. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification down below. Keep you notified for when part 2 comes out. That's going to be soon. Or just check back. And if you watch this, I love you guys. Please comment down below. Peace.